Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Takedown Podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, joined as always by my boy RC himself, Mr. Roy Costin. Roy, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. I got to tell you, when it comes to professional wrestling, there's always a lot to discuss, especially this week. So, folks, what we're going to do, there are count them four. I'm doing the old four horsemen here. Four pay-per-views, four shows for wrestling this week. So Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Saudi Arabia, it is Night of Champions. Sunday at 7 p.m., it is NXT's The Great American Bash on the CW, first ever PLE that's going to be on the CW on national television. And on the other side of the coin, playing at the same time, we got TNA Slammiversary and AEW's Forbidden Door. So what Roy and I have decided is we're not going to do the quadruple of predictions because we will be here all day. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half. We're going to talk about Night of Champions from WWE and AEW Forbidden Door. One card has 6 matches. The other one, thus far as this recording, because Tony Khan has not spammed out the pay-per-view yet, has 10. So I imagine they'll probably be at the time of this recording when it comes out, he'll add 5 more matches because that's how Tony Khan's. So, Roy, I will ask you this. Weekend in wrestling, it's a lot of great stuff. Are you looking forward to this weekend's extravaganza?
Oh, yeah. I love whenever there's these big wrestling weekends. You have it around, you have them probably, 4 times a year where you'll have an NXT show, a big TNA show, big or even medium-sized AEW and medium-sized to big WWE shows. So I always look forward to these kind of weekends just because it becomes one of those, hey, I want to watch wrestling. Okay, where can I watch wrestling? Yes.
We always make the joke, and Mama Lark even said this, it's like wrestling's on like every night because Saturday you have MLW on their channel, AAA is on 10 p.m., Collision's on at 8 p.m., Thursday's Impact, Friday's SmackDown, Wednesday's AEW, Tuesday's NXT, and Monday's Raw. It's like we can't escape the wrestling bubble.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not as devoted as some other fans where I watch everything, but I will try to catch highlights of a lot of the stuff that I miss. But yeah, it can be, any random night of the week, you can turn on TV and watch wrestling. Which I don't know if you saw this. NWA just signed a deal with Tubi.
I will say this. I will definitely now have to check that out. That's another one that we forgot to mention. Evolve's on Tubi, and now you got NWA on Tubi. That's great for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping with NWA getting some exposure, maybe they'll start to kind of, cater to a younger crowd. Because NWA is such a classic promotion, and it never matters who's running it. A lot of people, especially in our neck of the woods, they hear NWA and it's like, oh man, that's the wrestling I grew up on kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do being on Tubi and whatnot.
I will say, talking to my cousins in Southern Pines in Charlotte back in the day, my mom could even attest this. We always used to talk about going to the Greensboro Coliseum to see Dusty Rhodes against Ric Flair. It has such a legacy to it and a lineage. I think with them and Billy Corgan loves that brand. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I think him with everything, just getting the exposure that it does and it needs, because I think a lot of people dismiss NWA, but a lot of people don't realize like how much a lot of talent there is great, but also at the same time too, there's such potential to really see it grow even further now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about too, when NWA was kind of hot recently, that was when, Ricky Starks was there. Now Ricky Saints. That was where Eddie Kingston was, and who was it that was pulling from the NWA talent to bring to AEW? It was Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So Cody's always going to have his hand and his blood really with NWA. So that connection still living on in some way, shape, or form works out. I'm still waiting to see Aldis versus Cody in WWE. I don't think it'll happen, but a man can dream.
Yeah, and I mean, when you had Cody against Nick Aldis at that first All In, that really just highlighted how prestige that NWA title was with Dusty holding it and now Cody. I also look at it from a stance like this, man. Like when you had Natty go against Kenzie Page,
Mm-hmm.
that was a big deal for NWA because a WWE superstar wrestling for an NWA Women's Championship, and that even elevated Kenzie Page even more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm interested to see what all ends up happening with them on Tubi. I would love to see some sort of working relationship with anybody really, whether it be WWE, AEW, heck, even if they do like some sort of partnership with MLW, just to kind of do something. But I think that'd be really fun. I could see a lot of talent in NWA and MLW getting along and kind of working together. So
There's a lot of possibilities, and I mean, I even look at it like this. I think that's got to be also huge now, especially on the NXT side. They're doing the first ever PLE on the CW, and the CW. I mean, we've seen many a different press releases that they have been very happy with the product. It's very popular
yeah,
on the CW network, so that's a big coup for them to have their first ever PLE on the CW.
yeah, and I mean it's doing it that way. It's one less app you got to download. You know, it's one less. Hey, where can I find this? Just doing it on the CW helps out because not only is it a big event, but like you said, CW has been extremely happy with them. When they first went to CW, I did a little not investigating, but just looking some stuff up. And I think before they went to CW, their highest viewership of any of their shows, it was like maybe 300,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
And NXT has constantly been getting like anywhere from 650 to 800,000 views every week on CW. So I mean, they're definitely bringing in a lot of eyes to the CW. So, you know, it's good to see them getting rewarded with, hey, why don't we just have the PLEs here, and just see how that works out.
and that's the thing too. I mean, people forget like WWE had and WCW like Clash of Champions was on the TBS network, and I think people always have this thing where they're just like, oh, there's all these shows, and a lot of my peers have even said this. Oh, you're overlapping the fan base, but I'm like we've never seen competition before. Starcade, WrestleMania, like with
Yeah.
it's the name of the game. Is it a lot of wrestling to ingest and indulge in? Yeah, but I mean, this is not like the first time we've had competition over the weekends.
No, it's almost like there was an entire, almost 2 years dedicated to a certain war for a certain day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you get the Monday Night Wars, and then everybody's talking about, oh, there's too much wrestling. No, that's when there's so much wrestling. That's when it brings out the best of the companies, I think, because they're trying to outdo other people. Oh, you want to watch this later? Well, let me know if any of the matches on that card are going to top any of the matches on this card, kind of thing.
All right.
So,
I'm right there with you. I mean, during the
yeah,
Monday Night Wars, it was a must see. And I think why a lot of wrestling fans kind of dipped in '02 was just, and I mean, I'll be honest, '02 was when I first started really getting into wrestling. And I mean, 23 years, it has its ups and has its lows, like there's anything with wrestling. But I think when you get to like that time period and it's just WWE, I mean, TNA and Ring of Honor are starting up and there's no more WCW and ECW. It's kind of like, you know what, the fun's gone, and they just did that invasion angle that everybody still poo poos on to this day. So it's just like, wrestling started to dip, but when you had the interest of the Monday Night Wars and you had three companies right in there, I mean, ECW is on TNN, but it was a fun time.
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of a fun time, we're going to have a fun time this weekend, man. You want to go ahead and get right into this Night of Champions?
Whew, damn straight. And I like your segue, good sir. Yeah. But I have to say this when it comes to Night of Champions, there are 6 matches on this. I figured we start with this one just because of the fact is it's relatively new.
Mhm.
They have history going for the women's championship. But again, she pins her in a tag, and it's just kind of like, okay, let's throw this on here. Tiffany Stratton
Yeah.
and Jade Cargill for the Women's United States Championship. I could see some Chelsea Green involvement. I could see some Charlotte Flair involvement because I think at SummerSlam we're going to get Charlotte and Jade because of everything they've gone to finally blow that off. But if I had to pick in this one, just because she's relatively new to the championship and she literally just got it not too long ago, I got to go. It's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton to retain. Who you picking, Roy?
That's not a bad pick. And I think you're right. There probably will be some sort of involvement from someone. I'm leaning more towards maybe B-Fab and Michin being the involvement. And it might work out for Jade because, like you said, they are kind of building to Jade and Charlotte. So a good way to have that match kind of happen at SummerSlam would be to go ahead and put the title on Jade. Go ahead and have Jade. She's a women's champion. Then she becomes a U.S. champion. And then maybe she beats Charlotte at SummerSlam to retain the title, kind of elevating Jade up a little bit. So I'm gonna go with Jade on this one, just to see and kind of keep my fingers crossed with that's the direction that they're gonna go.
I mean, and then you test the waters, and I mean, if Charlotte loses to Jade, it doesn't hurt her in the slightest. It just elevates Jade. But I think you have to see what she's done. I mean, I think she has worked hard. That WrestleMania matches she had with Rhea, the other matches she had with Rhea in Australia, like there is a lot of potential there. And her and Tiffany, I mean, Tiffany is just so young and just so precocious. And I sound like friggin' Talladega Nights, precocious and full of wonderment. All I need is the ever so delicious Taco Bell. It's one of those things where it's just like she has a lot of potential. And I've been loving the Tiffy time. So let's see how everything intertwines. And speaking of I'm sorry, what?
Oh no, I was just going to say, to kind of cap it off with the whole Tiffy time thing, if she loses that title, then I think she could do kind of the tag team thing with Chelsea. She could go back to chasing the main title. We've got the vignettes for Blake Monroe, so maybe there's something with Blake Monroe down the line. So there's a lot of opportunity for Tiffany Stratton even without the title, and I think just Jade having that title kind of helps push her story along. So
I mean, I also kind of want to see how Tiffany and Chelsea would get along as a tag team. I think the strange bedfellows, but then she finally starts to embrace her, really encompasses a great story there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of great story, we are also at our next matchup. Ricky Saints gets the somewhat chicanery of a win over Carmelo Hayes, and that feud continues. But Ricky has become the number one contender for Trick Williams, as it is Trick Williams and Ricky Saints for the United States Championship. Trick is over like Rover. They tried to make him a heel, but it's like, no, this man is money. This man's got them lemon pepper steppers and everything in between. The man has the look. He has the charisma. He has the mic. He has everything. And when you look at someone like Ricky Saints, another one, great talker, like we mentioned, his work in NWA and AEW. I think if you really let these guys go, this has the potential to be one of the show stealers in a sleeper match. But if I had to pick on this one, since, again, relatively new, but also relatively hot with this championship, I got to say Trick retains, and we're going to whoop that Trick. But Ricky Saints is going to have a great showing. Who are you picking, Trick or Ricky?
It's going to be a great showing. I'm going with Trick on this one. For the same reasons, like he's newer to the title. They're going to have a good match. I really, really, really was hoping that it was going to turn into a triple threat. Just because that added element of having Carmelo in there would have made it even better, especially with who has Trick been coming to the ring with recently?
Lil Yachty.
Yeah, Lil Yachty. Especially with, like, you add Lil Yachty ringside and it being a no DQ if it's a triple threat. You kind of get Lil Yachty involved. There was a lot of potential with that, which that may end up being what they do at SummerSlam. And that you'll see a pattern. A lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about, especially with Night of Champions, is going to be, well, they might do this, but at SummerSlam, because that's all this really is it's cannon fodder for SummerSlam matches. So I could see them maybe running a triple threat or a fatal four way even at SummerSlam. But yeah, they're not going to take the title off of Trick just yet.
I mean, I look at it like this: like you have the stopgap with Saturday night's main event, but all roads lead to SummerSlam. And I think if you really want to include something in this, wherever Ilya Dragunov is, we can even make it a fatal four way, just because those four blended together, I think would make a great, nice mix. But yeah, I'm all invested in the Trick Williams project. And Little Yachty, I will say this: people complain about celebrities, but that dude has added a lot with that. At first, I was very apprehensive on it, but Little Yachty's been killing it with Trick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to downplay celebrity involvement, but they have had a really good track record as of late with the celebrities that they brought in. Hate them or love them, bringing in Logan Paul really did change the dynamic of a lot of things with WWE. You know, he ended up signing as a quote unquote full-time wrestler. The dude is on TV basically every week. And he's not even, you know, that celebrity status anymore. It's just he is a wrestler. He's a WWE superstar. And you have people like Lil Yachty, you have people like Jelly Roll, Bad Bunny, who still, in my opinion, has one of the greatest entrances of all time at Backlash. Like that is top five greatest entrance of all time. But you have these guys who grew up watching wrestling, who are athletic, who want to give it a shot because it's something that they always aspired to do. And they get to go to the performance center and get trained up a little bit. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you know what? They can actually do something other than come out, hit somebody with a title or something, and then raise their hand afterwards. You know, people didn't complain when Hugh Jackman punched
Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler in the mouth. But guess what? He did. Nobody brings that up anymore. But it happened. I blame everything on Jeremy Piven.
Don't even get me started on Jeremy Piven. Summerfest, right? Summerfest. Yep. And Dr. Ken just, no. That was one of the worst celebrity guest hosts ever. That you could tell that, number one, they were just doing it for the payday, but number two, they were not invested. They didn't care at all.
Such a full circle moment, though, when you think about it, because Jeremy Piven on Entourage was who?
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
Like, think about this. Think about who he portrayed on Entourage.
Yeah.
Guess who owns WWE now?
Yeah,
it's just full circle, man. It's crazy.
You're taking me back. I think, what movie was he promoting at that time? Like Go Hard or whatever it was. That movie where he's like the car dealership and all that.
It might have been. I remember watching that movie too.
Was it any good?
Sure. I don't know. I don't remember. Jeremy Piven always stars in some of the most forgettable things.
He did make a cameo in Rush Hour, and I think he was.
But he's always so forgettable. But his movies, when you watch them at the time, it's like, oh, this was pretty good. And then you ask like maybe a week later, and it's like, I never watched that movie. It's basically the little neuralizer from Men in Black. You watch one of his movies. You get hyped up to watch it, you watch it, and then at the very end, somebody neuralizes you, and you're like, oh, yeah, did I watch that movie? Oh, well.
That's a great comparison. I think he was briefly in Kiss the Girls, for those who remember that, Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he has all kinds of weird little cameos and stuff.
By the way, I got a thing with Bad Bunny, even since you mentioned it. I don't know what the words mean, but I got to tell you, ever since that Backlash, I know, like, that entrance was so good, dude.
The halftime show at the Super Bowl, I know that was like a very big hot topic thing for a lot of people.
It was good.
It was so good, and I'm like, you don't have to understand the words to enjoy the rhythm of it. And that's basically what that is you're just there for the rhythm. You're there for the vibes. It doesn't matter what the words are. Like, the vibes are there, and that's what mattered.
And it wasn't even him. You know who really got me irked on that performance? And I'll tell you why. That damn Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin is 55 years old, and he still looks like he did when he was singing "Livin' La Vida Loca." What the hell, man? What the hell?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's, you know what? Good for him.
Ricky.
Good for him.
Shake your bonbon, Ricky. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. We're going to not only live La Vida Loca, but we are going to live with more great action in professional wrestling, as it is a steel cage match between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Look, I kind of was like, all right, we could have finished this when he beat him on Raw, but we're still going with this. I think this match is going to be good. There's a part of me that wants to see Seth win to finish it, but there's also a part of me, I don't know his timetable when he'll be back, but he looks in amazing shape. I could see an interference from Bronson Reed here.
I know exactly where you were going with that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And either way, I think this will be a Braun Breaker victory. This is one of those ones Seth Rollins does not need to win. And I think it just elevates Braun Breaker even more of his star status. But I think Seth, just because to end it, but if I'm really going to be overall realistic with it, I think we're going to get Vision interference and Braun Breaker's going to take the dub here. Who are you picking, Seth or Braun?
Let's see. Cage match, Saudi Arabia, Seth is involved. It might end in a no contest with a toolbox. I don't know, man. I'm on the same. I'm in the same boat with you. I'm looking at it like Seth doesn't necessarily need the win. It can elevate Braun, but on that same hand, I just want Seth to be done with the Vision.
Same.
But I did see somebody post a picture, and I kind of dug it. It was, I guess it was an AI thing or whatever, but it was Seth in a suit, the Prophets in a suit, and Oba Femi in a suit as one faction.
That would be dope.
And I was like, oh, I like that idea. I really like that idea, especially like if you have Oba win the title down the line somehow, and then it's him versus Braun Breaker for the title. You're starting to mix in some of that new young blood into the main event scene and everything like that. But as far as the cage match goes, I'm going to go with Seth winning.
Okay.
And then it'll be a Vision beatdown afterwards. Okay. So you're still going to get your Vision involvement, and they'll probably try to get involved during the match. But I'm going to give it to Seth winning, and then there's going to be the Vision involvement afterwards. So
I like your style on that front, and I got to tell you, Seth, this one bringing up the toolbox over here. Seth Rollins and The Fiend from Hell in a Cell 2019. Oh, God. I'm going to tell you something right now. X-Pac's reaction was the best to that. How do you do a DQ in a Hell in a Cell match? I'm like, well, they did it the year before.
That was the second year they did it, where Brock Lesnar the year before interfered in a Hell in a Cell. How do you interfere in a Hell in a Cell? There is no interference. Anything goes, man. Mm-hmm. No, the funny thing is, man, I actually really enjoyed that match, and I still do. I still like that match. It's just that was such a weird way to have the finish for the match. And sometimes that's all it takes is the finish of a match will mess up your perception of the entire match itself.
That is a great comparison. I mean, I wasn't the Brian. I wasn't the Brian Alvarez crowd of like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. No, I think they over exaggerate a lot because, I mean, there's a lot more of the worst things that I've ever seen. Do I even dare talk about Kennel from Hell with Al Snow and the Big Boss Man? Pepper, fresh ground pepper.
Oh, Boss Man got hung in a Hell in a Cell.
That too, The Undertaker. Do you know people still have classified that not as one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches ever?
Oh, dude, it would not surprise me there, but to go back to your point, there are so many worse matches than the Fiend versus Seth
Yep.
Rollins in Hell in a Cell. Like, no, I did not like the fact that the lights were red the whole time.
Right.
That was so, for a gimmick, that was too gimmicky in my opinion. But the match itself was really good. The psychology of the match was perfect. Like, what can I do to put down the Fiend? I need to basically pull out a gun. I've got to get this toolbox. I've got to slam his head in. I've got to pulverize him into a pulp. And the referee being like, hey man, no, I've got to call this match off because you're going to legitimately kill him. Then yeah, okay, I like that psychology of it. But it's nowhere near the worst match I've ever seen, by no means.
Listen, if you want to see a bad Hell in a Cell match, Bad Blood 2003, Triple H and Kevin Nash with Mick Foley as the special guest referee.
Yeah, and that was trying to be good.
Exactly. Well, something that I do know will be good, but a lot of people are kind of about it. So Cody Rhodes winds up beating Gunther thanks to Sammy. Sammy did the old "I'm gonna kick you in the hands" and then sunset flip 1, 2, 3. Then Cody, being the ultimate babyface, is like, no, not winning like that. Then Sammy gets involved and it's a whole big schmaz. And Sammy has now inserted himself into a triple threat match. It is Cody, Gunther, and Sammy for the WWE Championship. I think Cody's going to retain here. I don't know if he'll pin Sammy or if he'll pin Gunther, but I think either way, I think we're going to get a continuation of other of the feuds. But I think Sammy is the direction to go because I think it is a crime that Sammy has not held World Championship gold yet. I think he's going to be right on the rise there. There's such promise. I can't wait for Johnny Gargano to wake up and we could see what develops there. But I think we're going to hold off till Sammy for just maybe like a couple more months. And I think Cody's going to retain here. Gunther's still going to be on that chase. I think CM Punk is eventually going to get involved, and we're going to get Punk and Cody like we teased. But I think right now Cody is the ultimate babyface, and I think that white meat babyface is going to retain that WWE Championship. Hit him with that. Whoa! Cody Rhodes is going to retain. Who you picking, boy?
Sammy.
You're going to go the Sammy route.
I'm going Sammy route. Look, so here's what I'm thinking.
Hit me.
And it's one of those, there's a lot involved with it, but to kind of boil it down, Saudi Arabia, Sammy is uber over in Saudi.
Over. Yep.
Sammy's gimmick has been the last real good guy or something like that.
The last real good guy. His ain't diehards.
Yeah. We're gonna see Gunther is going to powerbomb and demolish everybody. They're gonna end up. There's going to be 3 crossroads. And as soon as he gets done with that third one, he goes to stand up. Boom, haluva kick, drop back, pins Gunther 1, 2, 3. He's going to steal the win from Cody. That way it plays into, the last real good guy. He's not really, because he did what he had to do to win the title. And then we kind of move into SummerSlam with, Gunther feeling cheated, Cody's feeling cheated, Sammy's got the title. There's a possibility of having Jey Uso as the person going after the title. There's a lot involved in it that I think it would make sense for Sammy to have the title from now until SummerSlam, because you go ahead and you give him a title reign, but you make it a transitional thing where he doesn't have to hold it long. It's just the fact that he's holding it, kind of thing. So I'm actually, I'm going Sammy with this one.
I think what's so interesting about this is too, Sami Zayn kind of reminds me of, I know this might be a weird analogy, like when Bo Dallas was the NXT champion and then he cheated to beat Big E Langston, and took the turnbuckle off, and then he's coming out here doing the Bo Levy, smiling. People are turning their backs on him. He's the good guy he's the bad guy that thinks he's a good guy, and he's just a slimy douche, to put in the bluntest of terms.
Yes, no, honest to God, that is a really great comparison, because that's kind of what I'm thinking is it starts out as, yeah, I'm the underdog in this situation. I'm the guy that everybody wants to cheer for. And then he starts having that realization of, oh, wow, everybody does want to cheer for me. I've got to do what I can to win this title, even if that means cheating, even if that means doing something a little underhanded. And then it's, well, you guys wanted me to win the title. I won the title for you. I had to do what I had to do to win this title for you. And his justification being, basically, I turned into a bad guy because you guys were cheering me. So, yeah, I could 100% see that being the route. Now, granted, that is also just me wanting to see something different, because it probably will be Cody winning and everything. But no, man, I want it to be Sammy. I think to make it interesting, have Sammy win this one. So we'll see. We'll see come Saturday or Sunday or Monday or whenever they want to do this stuff.
I will say this. It's definitely a great change of scenery if that does happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of change of scenery, we'll go to our next match. It is the finals of the Women's Queen of the Ring, as it is Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. And we're going to play a clip here because Roy was very proud of himself, as he should be, because he kind of put this into fruition, if you will.
So you say you don't see Liv winning it.
Why are you going with Liv Morgan?
I say,
okay.
Who's to say SummerSlam isn't Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for both titles on the line?
Roy, you're just manifesting that and putting that into the universe right now.
I don't know who that guy is with the long hair, but he's got it. I mean, he saw it coming. He saw it coming. He's got a good head on his shoulders.
So, Roy, are you still sticking with Liv Morgan over Io?
No! Okay, so I think Roxanne and Raquel are going to try to help Liv win, and they're going to end up costing her, giving Io the win, and having the very kind of, don't know how to feel about it, Io versus Rhea at SummerSlam. I think that's probably the best option, which is why I'm going to go with it. Because then you've got all the turmoil within Judgment Day. Liv didn't really help out Raquel in her victory. She didn't help out Roxanne. So they're going to kind of maybe not turn their back, but definitely accidentally make Liv lose and have Io win. So I'm sticking with Io's going to win it, but how funny would it be if Liv does win? Just because, nobody wanted her in this thing. She's already got the title. Please, Stephanie Vaquer, come back.
That was my thing. I was thinking, depending on the timetable, if Stephanie Vaquer gets involved, the Raquel Roxanne dissension. I mean, we planted the seeds. We all have wanted that HBK Diesel Liv Morgan Raquel match. But I got to tell you, man, when it comes to what we're seeing with this, it doesn't make any sense for Liv to win just because she already has the title. And I think I'd like to see, because there is two stories you can tell, because Liv Morgan at SummerSlam beat Rhea, and that was when Dominic turned, and that started that whole storyline. Then on the other hand, you have Io and Rhea, two best friends here in Rio, but Rhea's never beaten Io. And then that would see, can she finally beat her? But if I'm going to choose, just because this is the one I want, I'm going to go with Io Sky over Liv Morgan. And I think Io is going to get that victory as well. And I think there will be some Judgment Day implosion. And
Yeah.
speaking of implosion, we are at our final match on Night of Champions. Oh boy, the internet will lose its mind if this happens. So, in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, it is Jey Uso versus Oba Femi. Ooh. Now, I like Oba and Jay's promo from Raw. I thought it was very well done. Jey Uso has that new catchphrase. This is your warning shot. Bang. Okay. As Roy shakes his head, I'm like, all right, I guess if that's your new catchphrase, sure, whatever, but no. And then we got to see Oba really dominate throughout this entire tournament. And I think it's the plausible thing, just because it is Saudi, that Brock Lesnar's going to get involved and cause Oba the match, or some way he kind of tries to and thwarts it and Oba wins. And I could see maybe like it's Oba and Roman on night one of SummerSlam, and Oba wins, and then Oba and Brock fight for the title. Then Oba beats Brock and send him on his way. Or Brock costs Oba at SummerSlam. Roman wins, and then he gets his revenge on Brock the next night. But I think that's too convoluted. So I'm just going to go with who I want to see, because the money matches Oba and Roman. So I'm going to go with Oba, but I have a feeling it might be Jay because of that interference, and then we get Cody and Jay, or Sammy and Jay at SummerSlam. Who are you picking? Are you going Oba, or Jey Uso? Yeet.
So my heart says Oba.
Yep.
Like 100%. I've been Oba feminist from day one.
Oba feminist?
Is that the first time you've ever heard that one?
Well, I know the Omos. The Omos has the Homo sapiens.
Yeah, he's got Homo sapiens. Well, Oba is Oba feminist.
Is that really a thing now? Is that really?
Yeah, it's been a thing.
Okay.
At least as far as I know, that's what we've always said ever since he debuted. Was Oba feminist, but I've been down with Oba since day one. No pun intended with who he's facing.
Ish.
But the story works so much better if Jay wins, because then it really does, especially if this happens earlier in the night before, which, if I'm not mistaken, this and the Queen of the Ring final will be on ESPN.
I think so, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, both of those matches will take place on ESPN before you have to switch it over for the rest of the card. If Jay wins, it actually makes it harder to predict who wins in that triple threat match, because there is history with Cody, there's history with Sammy,
and history with Gunther,
and there's history with Gunther. Yep. So it makes it so much better story-wise if Jay wins. And I hate saying that, but I just to be difficult, I'm going with Jay. But no, in my heart, it's Oba. In my heart, it's Oba, but I'm going with Jay just because I think storyline wise that might be what they're going to do.
Now, mind you, I'm wearing an Usos t-shirt and I'm going against the Usos.
I know, man. I know.
I know. Here's my thing too, and I like the Usos. I like Jimmy. I like Jay. I see what you're saying from the storyline aspect to kind of draw that out. Mm-hmm. But I think you want to talk about Oba kind of comparing himself to Brock. Look at when Brock Lesnar first came in. He debuts after WrestleMania 18, and then by the summertime, he's beating The Rock for the title. That's a good 6-month period.
Wait, Oba, what was it? What was it that happened in between there?
Oh, he won the King of the Ring. There you go. Yes. I see what you did there.
Yep. So that's why I said, trust me, I want it to be Oba, just because there's so many parallels between him and Brock. It would make sense for him to win it, but it makes such storyline sense for it to be Jay. Because even right before SummerSlam, it can be Roman's pushing for him to face, Sammy, Cody, Gunther, whoever's got the title, and then boom, super kick. I don't like the way that you had Jacob talking to me. I'm coming back for your title.
That's another good thing. Like, there's a part of me that thinks this bloodline iteration is not going to last as long as it did the first time. And you also got Solo in the background with the MFTs. So that is a great thing to focus on the story arc. And speaking of arc, we are now going to go over to the Forbidden Door side of things. Tony, 10 matches. Tony.
Tony.
Hey, Tony.
10 match Tony.
Goodness gracious. So as of this recording, there is one match on the buy-in, and we're going to get this one out of the way. I'm sure this is going to be a very good match, but I know that they're going to put a lot of the Stardom thing emphasis here and CMLL. So for the AEW Women's World Tag Titles, it is the Divine Dominion, a.k.a. the AEW's version of the Skyscrapers, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia, who's also competed in Stardom and CMLL. I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion with how they're building these ladies, so I got to go with the Divine Dominion to retain.
Yeah. We'll keep it short and sweet. Divine Dominion, definitely.
And I like both of those girls because dare I say, I think this is the first time I'm ever going to say it on this show. They are both a tall glass of water, if you know what I'm saying. Know what I'm saying, Mr.
Look, I'm a huge fan of Thunder Rosa.
Same. Lucha Underground, Cobra Moon, baby.
Yeah, love me some Thunder Rosa, but yeah, Divine Dominion. I don't see why a title change would happen here. Yeah, we'll go into the main card for this.
let us go with our first matchup here, as it is for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Cope and Cage versus the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors. We kind of predicted this a few episodes ago.
Yeah, that's another clip I should have pulled up. I don't know why I didn't.
That's all good. But I look at it from a stance like this. Look, they tried to do the 5-second pose, the disposable cameras. They got their butts kicked. They brought with them on Dynamite. Look, they've kind of made the Dogs look like a bunch of J-Brones. I'll be honest. And I like David Finlay and Clark Connors, but they haven't had the greatest run since coming into AEW. I know they were the trios champion for like a hot minute, and I mean literally a hot minute, but also the introduction of Gabe Kidd now into the Death Riders, so it's just David Finlay and Clark Connors now. I think we're going to stretch this out more, and the rumor is, like we mentioned a few episodes ago, but just to emphasize this point, that they're going with Cope and Cage against the Young Bucks and FTR in a TLC match for All In London. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm going with Cope and Cage. And the reason why I emphasize Cope is because the fact that he's going by Cope, and that is the stupidest name. I get it's his nickname, and people call him that. But the name on the marquee saying Cope is probably one of the dopest things that I've seen, and not in a good way. So Cope and Cage retain. Who you going, Cope and Cage or the Dogs?
So I think it's funny that one of their biggest stars in AEW is Cope, because that's what a lot of people do when it comes to watching wrestling, is they have to cope with what's going on. I'm going with the Dogs, and I think it's because of, there is the rumored triple threat, TLC or whatever knockoff gimmick name they're going to give it. I think that could happen, but I don't think it's going to be FTR involved.
Okay.
Just because, and once again, this is all, speculation, and you can't believe any of the carnies when they start talking about what their future holds. But I think both guys from FTR have even stated that they're taking a little bit of a break. They're going to stay off TV. They're going to kind of do other things, blah, blah, blah. Their contract is coming up. And if you know Tony, you know one thing. If somebody's contract is coming up within like a year, you're not seeing them on TV. Sorry. You might as well just go ahead and sit beside Nyla Rose and them in the back and hope for the best. I'm thinking the Dogs win this one, and it actually goes along with my thought process into the next match. So if we want to go into that one.
Okay, and I will say this. First of all, I think Roy at AEW All In is thinking that it will be a new day, if you know what I'm saying. So, in our next matchup on this card, we do have a triple threat tag team match, as it is the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Superkick Pate, versus El Sky Team Místico, the original Sin Cara, and Máscara Dorada, the former Grand Metalik, versus Unbound Company, Shingo Takagi, and Titan. We've seen a lot of these guys on the Forbidden Doors. But I think if you're really highlighting a lot of the tag teams here, and since we're going to see them go back into the tag division, I got to go with them Super Kick boys from Rancho Cucamonga. I got to go Young Bucks here, but I think this matchup overall, Shingo is so impressive since his days in Dragon Gate and New Japan. Titan has done his thing in Mexico. Místico is Místico when he's not under the WWE auspices and botch and everything. And Grand Metalik was a huge staple on 205 Live and in the Cruiserweight Classic. So I got to go Young Bucks. Who are you picking?
I'm going Young Bucks because it goes along with my thought process with the Cope and Cage match. I think you're going to have the Dogs win, and then you're going to have the Bucks win this one, and it's kind of a way to have, a reason for Bucks versus the Dogs, because they've been kind of teasing that a lot on Dynamite and Collision lately. So I think it kind of helps move that story along, and you start to get the Bucks back into the tag division. You start to kind of put over some of these younger guys, and by younger I mean they're not a lot younger, but definitely younger than Cope and Cage. So I think that's what they're going to end up doing is you're going to have the Bucks win. That way it makes sense. Which I know AEW making sense with a match. Who would have thought? But I think that's what they're going to do is to make sense out of it. They're going to have the Bucks win so they can face the Dogs down the road for the titles. So
I like your style on that. I think it definitely highlights the AEW tag division, and definitely they need more height and elevation right now. We'll go to the next match for the Continental Championship, as it is reigning champion Jon Moxley versus Bandito. So I think a lot of people are thinking, how do we get to this point? So when it comes to the Continental Championship, Jon Moxley pretty much was feuding with Bandito, and the Death Riders had a match on Collision. They said, hey, man, I want a shot at the title, did Bandito, so here we are. Literally, that's how we got here with this match. It's very random. It's going to be very good. But I think at the same time, too, I think this is also kind of a layup for Jon Moxley to retain, and then we'll see where he goes on to next. And especially with the Will Ospreay tie-in here, I got to go Moxley to retain over Bandito, since also he recently just got the title. So are you going Moxley or Bandito?
I'm going Moxley because what's going to end up happening is Moxley retains. They do Death Riders beatdown on Bandito afterwards. Brody King comes out to make the save. Then you're going to have Brody versus Moxley for that title. And that's when Moxley drops it, he drops it to Brody.
Brody King is so good, man. Like for
he is. He's awesome.
A lot of people don't realize how good that dude is. But yeah,
he's awesome.
I'm right there with you. Give me some Brody and Moxley. Okay. Mm-hmm. Next up, we will go with the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, Shota Umino versus Pac. We've seen Shota go in there with Jericho. We've seen him on Forbidden Door. I think him and Pac are going to have a great match. Pac and Shota definitely have great contrasting styles. If I had to pick, though, I'm actually going to go with the New Japan side and go with Shota Umino over Pac, but it's going to be really good. Who are you going with?
Yeah, Shota Umino. Mainly because if you look at the past, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's been all basically AEW. This is a match for a non-AEW title. Pac, he's great, but he hasn't really done much recently. This is an easy win for AEW to say, hey, look, we're partners. We're partners, right, New Japan? See, we let your guy win. We didn't take the belt off of him. So, yeah, it's going to be Shota Umino. But it is going to be a really good match.
I got to tell you, I mean, and we're coming towards the end of our predictions, but this Forbidden Door, The concept is cool, but I think it's kind of lost its luster since we're not
Yeah.
featuring a lot. Dude, they're not featuring a lot of like the CML Stardom people. It's
No.
like you should have a more ingest of this, but it's not.
Forbidden Door lost its luster after the first Forbidden Door. Because everybody, when they first found out they were doing Forbidden Door, there was a reason why it was Forbidden Door. It's like, oh wow, like you're actually doing a show with them. This is awesome. We're going to see some of these AEW guys go against the New Japan guys. This is great. They introduced CMLL later, and then it's like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. This is neat. And now it's got to the point where it's, hey, here's a whole bunch of AEW people and people from other promotions that always wrestle on AEW, and we're going to do Forbidden Door, that one time of the year where we get all three companies or all four companies to come in under one roof, except for the 3 Dynamites before and the 2 Collisions before. And, oh, yeah, by the way, at All In, we're probably going to have, somebody defend a CMLL title, and New Japan probably, just because, London's right down the road from Japan in our eyes. So we're going to have, probably a New Japan title defended too. But Forbidden Door, that's where, that one time of the year where everybody gets together. No, it's lost its luster. But that being said, in my opinion, it's probably going to have the best technical matches. Like, if you're looking for in-ring ability and your idea of wrestling is what happens in the ring, what happens in between the ropes, then Forbidden Door is going to be the best thing to watch, because it's going to be 10, 20 to 30-minute matches, a lot of flips, a lot of technical wrestling, a lot of crazy maneuvers, and predictable outcomes.
I feel you on that, and I also look at it from a stance like this. It's like, look at the UK with All In. It's like, okay, can we get a Rev Pro title defense on this show? Because, I mean, they still have that partnership with Rev Pro, but, it's that one time of the year. That's how I kind of view it as it too,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we get to, and I hate to do the but it's just like, yeah, it's...
No, I mean, it's one of those things.
It is what it is.
It's such a popular thing.
Yeah.
But it's also very predictable.
I mean, you want to talk about predictable. These two have a history in Stardom, and I know she's got that feud with Stardom, and she's been hilarious attacking the promoter and the owner of Stardom. But everything that goes into it has been funny, and she's great on the mic, and she's great as a wrestler. It is Tekla versus her old nemesis from Stardom, Starlight Kid, who has beaten her before, for the AEW Women's World Championship. If you're going to continue this where she's mollywopping him and doing everything and going against Stardom, it's got to be Tekla. I think that's another layup. Tekla or Starlight Kid. Yeah.
It's for the title?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's Starlight Kid?
Starlight Kid.
Man, that's a tough one. Gosh, I got to flip a coin on this one, but I got to both sides say Tekla. Okay, yeah, then yeah, Tekla's going to win this one most likely.
I like your sarcasm, Roy. I'm
sorry. Sorry, man.
No, man. I don't blame you, but it's predictable. Like, we know what we're doing here. Yeah. And I love Starlight Kid, but no.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But it goes back to literally what we just said about the previous match.
Yep.
It is our title on the line against a non-AEW person.
Yeah.
Duh.
Oh, speaking of non-AEW talent, we saw them have a promo exchange. Well, Kenny Omega and the Elite did on AEW Dynamite for the first time ever on U.S. soil. And really, we get to see these two have great matches in Japan, but we're bringing it here to the States. Kenny got Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. We've seen him on Forbidden Doors against Claudio and Orange Cassidy. There's no denying that Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the best technical wrestlers out there. He does.
Oh, yeah.
But Kenny Omega is Kenny Omega, and I think if you're going to have a great match here, you got to give it to Kenny by God Omega. Who you picking, Kenny Omega or Zack Sabre Jr.?
I'm actually going with Zach on this one.
You're going ZSJ? Okay.
Yeah. Just because this is one of those matches, there's no title. As far as I know. Am I wrong in this?
Nope, no title. One-on-one.
Okay. I was about to say there's 300 titles in AEW. I had to make sure. So there's no title. It is arguably one of the biggest stars in New Japan. With Zack Sabre Jr. Kenny loses nothing if he loses to Zack. Like, he loses absolutely nothing. So I think this is a really good opportunity to have Zack Sabre Jr. win and kind of have people even more be like, oh man, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. really is good. So I'm going with Zack Sabre Jr. on this one.
Dude, from his work in the Cruiserweight Classic just to everything in Japan and the UK, just amazing. But yeah, I like your style. I mean, I like to see some unpredictability there, and it hurts nothing if Kenny loses. So
absolutely nothing.
And speaking of losing, all right, we're down to our final three, and I figure we start with this. I'm going to preface this by saying condolences and love to Maya World for the loss of her brother. We know he recently passed in a horrible car crash on the highway. She dedicated the Women's Owen Hart Cup match and everything to her brother. She got to the final by beating Athena, and Mercedes Moné, who is her hero, hugged her, and then her and Athena attacked her on Collision. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Women's Owen Hart Cup title final, Mercedes Moné versus Maya World. My thing is, I like Maya World. She's teamed with Hyon on Ring of Honor. She got that push as well because Nixon Newell and Miranda Alizé did not want to do the job. And don't lie, you know you didn't want to do the job. But also at the same time, too, I think she's going to work her butt off. This is the match of her life against her hero. I kind of wanted Athena in this because these two have chemistry, but I think my boy Paul Morales said this the best, and I will shout him out on this, and I want to get your thoughts, Roy. I think Mercedes is going to win because CEO. And I think we're going to get her and Tekla. And I think Maya World is going to go against Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's Champion at All In. And she's going to be the one to finally defeat the Forever Champion. So I'm going with Mercedes over Maya World. But in a way, I want to see Maya World win for the feel-good story. Who are you picking, Mercedes or Maya World?
So I like that idea. I really do. It almost feels like a consolation thing. You're talking about the feel good story and everything, and I wonder if she would have made it this far if her brother hadn't passed.
That was my thing too.
It's not, and I don't want it to sound like I'm taking anything away from her.
No,
because she also would not have been in the tournament if it hadn't been for Sari being injured.
Yep.
So there was that compounded with her brother passing. I think at this point you have her win. And then as the Owen Hart champion, she either gets put into the whatever it is that they're doing for the TBS title.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, she either gets put into that, which would be a cool concept. Like, she wins this off that momentum. She's like, you know what? I won this. I could win the TBS title. Or, like you said, she goes after the Ring of Honor women's title. Same thing, though, where she's like, hey, I won this. I beat Athena to make it here. So why not have me face her for the title? I'm actually going to go with Maya World. Just because you've gone this far with it, you might as well go ahead and finish it out. Have that feel-good story. Um, it I hate the tragedy behind it, but also this push couldn't have happened to a better person. So I think go ahead and have her win. That way she's not only the new Owen Hart champion, but she also can possibly go after the TBS title or the Ring of Honor title and just go on about like that.
I like that comparison as well. I think whatever way you slice it, I think this another one, much like to be a sleeper of the show. It reminds me of when Kiera Hogan wanted to be in TNA, and you saw that old school video. And then she's getting a shot for the Knockouts title. This is her Kiera Hogan moment, so to speak.
Yeah.
Man, we'll go to this one next. Bruv! Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland in the men's final of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Bruv, I did not need to know on Dynamite that, to quote Steve Martin and Bringing Down the House, that you get all up in that with your wife, Alex Windsor, which congratulations to them, but I didn't need to know that's what you did. All right, sure. Just say that on live television. Fine. Whatever you say, bro. Bruv. Look, they're doing the story with the Death Riders. And I think you have to pencil in the fact that I think if you're in London, it's all in. We're going to get Will Ospreay and MJF for the AEW World title. So in this one, I like Swerve. Swerve has beaten him before when the title was on the line, when Swerve was champion. I think this is an Ospreay win for me. So I'm going with the Bruv man. Will Ospreay over Swerve. Who you picking, Ospreay or Swerve?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Ospreay. It kind of sucks for Swerve, but then again, I guess not. I'm sure they'll find something else for him to do, maybe in London. But it's going to be Ospreay, just because you're going to have that Ospreay versus MJF in London. Ospreay wins in London, close out the show with Ospreay holding up the title, holding up his wife, and hopefully they don't, Cope and Lita the thing right then and there.
Cope.
So yeah, it's going to be Ospreay, and yeah, Ospreay. There's a lot. There's something in my head. I'm going to have to wait until we get off to talk about, but Ospreay. It's going to be Ospreay.
Oh boy,
I got to remember where we post this sometime. Check us out on wfjafm.com/podcast.
I'll make sure to promote that again this time. Speaking of the end, we're at the end of Forbidden Door. As it is in a steel cage match, and if Briscoe's team wins, he gets a shot at MJF. It's Team Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Konosuke Takeshita, and Darby Allin versus MJF and the Don Callis family, Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Jake Doyle, Kazuchika Okada, and Andrade El Idolo. I would just like to add, if I may, we did this match already on Dynamite, which I thought was so stupid that they already gave the match away for free on television, but okay, whatever. Look, they have redemption after this. If you want a feel-good story, you have to have Mark Briscoe pin MJF in this match, and then he gets the title shot. He's not going to win. I would either do it at Redemption or I would do it on Dynamite, whatever it is, but I know that they are probably going to do MJF and Briscoe. So I'm going Team Briscoe. Mark Briscoe gets the feel-good win. He's doing it for his brother, Jay. Who you going with, Team Briscoe or Team MJF? And MJF's team did win on Dynamite, so that's also why I'm going with Briscoe.
Well, and that's why when you started, I forgot that this was even on the card. Because when you said that the last match was a cage match, I'm like, wait, what match is this? And then you started reading it off, and I was like, wait, didn't we just see this match? Hold on. Yeah, Briscoe's got to win this one. Because it makes storyline sense. Once again, I know that's weird to say, but it makes storyline sense. You have Briscoe win, like his team wins it. You have him and MJF facing off for the title. It doesn't have to, nobody said he has to win the title. He just gets the title match. So, he ends up going out there and he gets hit with the dynamite ring or a roll of quarters or whatever it is that they're doing this week. I don't know. and it's just kind of a squash match. but you gave him his match, so no, it's going to be Briscoe and them winning, especially if that's going to be the main event. You're going to have that feel-good moment at the end of the show where, you know, all of them are sitting on top of the cage or whatever, and they're all, you know, pointing up to the sky or drinking or something. They're going to be doing some sort of gimmick at the end, as Excalibur is like, and now we're, you know, this is the end of blah, blah, blah.
We're going off the air. Thank you so much for watching AEW Forbidden Door.
Yeah. So that's the way it's going to end up being. It's going to be 3:00 in the morning by the time the match is over, but it'll be a good feel-good moment.
And the problem is we say that jokingly, but it's actually very true.
It's probably, honest to God, it probably will be I'd say 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Tony. Tony. It does not feel good, but I'll tell you what feels good is the fact that we got to do these predictions for y'all. We will touch base next week on all the shows since, again, we cut this in half. We will also be doing our second episode of WSX the following week on this fine program, which features a certain superstar who they went back to the 70s, and that's going to be fun to talk about that guy in that episode. Oh boy, get ready for that one. But with that being said,
there might be a little bit of a surprise for that one too, because if there's a certain wrestler that is on the card, we might have a little bit of an audio clip for that wrestler. I can't remember if he's on this episode or if he's on the third episode, but
we will definitely put that in there. All right.
Yeah.
So, lots of good stuff coming here from the Takedown Podcast. Roy, since you do an amazing job with the social media fronts on that and everything in between, let us know where we can follow us.
Man, anywhere, either Takedown Pod, Takedown Podcast. We've got a Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. We've got YouTube. We've got an Instagram. We got a Facebook. There's also the WFJA Facebook that's getting started up over there. We've got a TikTok, Spotify. I still haven't figured out how Apple Music works, so we might get one of those sooner or later. We might not. I don't know. You can find us on WFJAFM.com/podcast. We're on there. A little bit of everywhere, man. We got a link tree. We got all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you can find us pretty much anywhere. As I tried to keep it as simple as possible, either Takedown Pod or Takedown Podcast. So just look us up on whatever. I'm sure you'll find us.
Links will be in the description for everything. You can also find us on St. Louis, Rolling on Dubs, Nelly Country Grammar. If you want to check out the YouTube channel, it's S&M Network Shows, and subscribe to the Takedown Podcast. Much like Roy said, WFJ.com/podcast. I remember to say it this time. Hi, everybody. At WFJA. You can also check me out, SM Show 1 MCL92 on Twitter, Instagram, Larkin_92, MLarkinMB, StephenMikeShow.com, as well as LFCfights.com. We're here, we're there, we're everywhere. And each and every week, we are so happy to give you this great entertainment and great show and love of professional wrestling. We'll be back with a recap of all of these shows next week. For Roy Costin, my name is Mike Larkin. This is the Takedown Podcast. And Roy, do it with me now. Cope!
Nope.
Nope. There's
nope.
No hope with dope.
Nope. You're Cope.
Saved by the Bell. Johnny Dakota is a scumbag. Boom.